Hi, and in this presentation I'm going to show you how to use 3D Studio Max to quickly design the shape and form of a building, and how you can use it to change that shape and form once you've designed it, to sort of play around with different ideas and different things. So what I'll do is I'll start by creating a cylinder here in the viewport. There we go, and I'll quickly assign a material to that. And then I'll start changing some of its parameters, so we'll alter the radius and we'll also alter the height as well. So let's see, we probably want this to be a fairly reasonable size, I can imagine. That should work, and we'll make some copies of this as well. So I'll do them maybe in a triangular shape. Maybe we're going for a skyscraper here. Okay, that's cool. And then I'll make a... Fortunately we don't have a triangle preset, which is mildly irritating. There you go, I do have a preset there for my extrude. So I can actually extrude that shape up, and I think that maybe looking at that I might want to go in and make some changes in a minute. I think that that should really be a little bit taller. I think for the size of it, it needs to be really maybe about that tall. Yeah, that'll work. And we'll make the segments about maybe 25, shall we say. So there we go, that's 25. And I'll change the height of that. We'll make it maybe 350. Value of 350. I'm not really concentrating too much here about what these values really are or what they really mean. I'm just here to sort of have a little bit of fun with them, because we're playing with the, as I say, we're playing with the shape and the form. We're not really worried too much about the accuracy in this presentation. Okay, well, that's one shape that we could have for our skyscraper, but I really feel that that's maybe lacking a little bit. You know, maybe we need to add something to that. So what I'll do is I'll select all of those and I'll apply another modifier onto this, and I will make that modifier a freeform deformation box. So I can grab hold of all those control points, say maybe in the top, and we'll scale them all towards the center. So now you look again, you start to say, oh well, actually that's another idea I could have. So maybe what I'll do is I'll start making copies of these every time I do something to them. So we'll grab that. This was our original. This was our second building. I'll make another copy of that one. And what I'm going to do now with that one is say, I'll take those control points here and I'll move them all to the back. I think I might have to go full screen here, so we'll go full screen. And then I'll just start to move a few of these points just gently around. Yeah, okay, so that's cool. That's quite an interesting shape there. So we've got another slightly different variant shape. Now I'm going to make another copy of it, and I think we're going to add maybe a bend modifier onto that. This is where things are going to get really crazy, because we can start to have a lot of fun with this. And if I was to put a bend on this now, so for example I did that, we'd be bending it from the middle, which I don't necessarily want to do. What I want to do is I want to bend it so that the bend happens from the base of the object, obviously. So now if I do something, I can bend like that. Maybe I want to change the direction of the bend to be 90. So I want the building to See, maybe lean that way. You don't want to lean like that, do you? Maybe just bring it back a little bit more. That looks interesting. Looks a little bit different. And what's great is I can start to swap. Can I do that with this one? No, not with that one, unfortunately. So to swap things about. So let's just grab those. Just twist. So we can do some interesting shapes, some interesting ideas for what's going to work and what's going to not. I don't think this one would particularly stand up, but there you go. I think we'll now take this one again and I'll make another copy of it and drag it along. And I think onto that I'll maybe try adding a twist modifier. So let's have a look all the way down here. Twist, 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 twist. And again, I want that twist to happen from the base. Otherwise it'll happen from the middle of the objects and things will look very odd. So actually that's looking quite interesting. In actual fact, when I look at it, the twist there, I think, well, maybe I want that triangle to be more in the center, very much like it was with this particular set. So we'll move another one along again, and what's great about 3D Studio Max is that I can grab this twist and I can copy it. I can grab a whole bunch of stuff over here which was effectively the same objects, and I can paste. And would you look at that? Having said that's a great thing, okay, it does work, but it doesn't work. Actually, no, it should work on individual objects. Let's try it on the individual objects, shall we? So we've got 1, 2, no, it's not going to work, is it? Okay, well, it was worth a try. It does. You saw it working there. It works on individual objects. It just didn't like that. Perhaps if I'd oh, actually yes. Perhaps if I grouped it first of all. We'll rename that later. Still doesn't work. Still doesn't like that. Okay. Well, we'll just have to add our own one on there. No biggie. We can still simulate the same thing. And there we go. And you know what I think it needs as well? The base needs to be a little bit bigger. I think because it looks as if it's going to fall over. So what I'll do is I'll add another freeform modifier box onto here. I'll take the control points that are all in the base. And you know, I think, whoops. Splay those out, give it a much thicker base, maybe even grab all of these and just start to pull and push and poke and maybe even make it a little bit taller. Now you're really getting something. Now we're doing something that looks a little bit weird. So okay, very, very quickly, and over the course of just the last few minutes, I've taken what was a very simple shape, I've turned it into a rather familiar looking hotel here, and then we've taken the shape and changed it even further. But what if I want to put that into a little bit of a setting? Show it in context a little bit, not just as a model on the screen here. I want to make this as part of a presentation. Well, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll grab all of these, and I'm afraid I'm going to hide all of those. And I like this one, so I'll move it back into the middle of the world. And I'll draw a little plane underneath this, little base. And we'll just, there we go. Bring that down slightly, And the reason for doing that is I'm going to convert it into an editable polygon. So it's not on the side. We're going to use something called the paint deformation. I think I need to make that a little bit stronger. There we go, and I'm just going to build up a little bit around the bottom of there, just to sort of show that we've got an island sort of taking shape. And let's also use a little bit of that. There we go. And I'm just going to work on this for a few moments until I get something that I'm happy with. You may have guessed from the fact that this is happening remarkably quickly that I might just be using quite a fast computer. I am. So let's take this into a negative value as well, so we can just smooth off some of these areas. A little bit concerned about what's going on here. I'll just make that Z negative. There we go, so we've got a weirdy little island, and I'll put another plane in here as well, I think. Can be my C. We'll rack the values down there. We're just putting plain materials on all of this at the moment. So there you go, and then maybe I'll put a little bit of a just a bridge going off onto the mainland. There you go. Okay, and we won't really worry too much about how that's going to be supported. We'll just put it in there. After all, we are just doing concepts here. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. And I think onto the water. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun here, and we're going to in our renderer, mental array. That's good. I'll assign an architectural design template material. I'm going to make this now water, just default water. We want it nice and sort of shiny like that. I think in actual fact we'll make this slightly lighter, maybe slightly brighter there, and make that 0.2 so it's a bit brighter. And I'm going to add a daylight system in, so we've got some sun in the scene. There we go. I'll increase my orbital scale because I think it ought to be. Actually, now that should be fine where it is. So then I'll set this to a Mr. Sun and a Mr. Sky. When you use mental array sun and sky, it comes up with this. Do you want to use the physical sky? The answer is always yes. Just a quick another few setups here. I'm going to enable final gather, set it to low, and in my environment I need to use logarithmic exposure control with a value set to exterior daylight. Open the group here, and I think before I go any further, let's just hide the selection off here, and I'm going to freeze this object just briefly because I'm happy with it anyway. And with my selection, I'm going to say ring and loop, and then Shift, and I love the way nothing ever works when you expect it to. Control, there we go, and then just deselect that. All I was looking for was all the polygons on the sides. And I'm going to extrude by polygon. Let's see. That's not working, is it? Let's do a bevel by polygon. Ah, that's better. Okay, that. Come out of my isolation mode. That's just going to give us some nice shadows as well. Pick an angle that we're happy with, so something like this, for example. So we're going to be happy with that. Let's just show our safe frame, and then let's press render. So there we go, a very quick demonstration of how to use 3D Studio Max just to create a few different examples of how a building might work, and then start to sort of put them into situ, put them into an environment where you might start to see them. It's very quick, very simple. You can use 3D Studio Max to prototype many different things in this way, and it's just kind of a fun tool to use. Nothing in here is particularly serious, nothing's particularly solid. But it works, you know, there's a good presentation there, and you can do 20 of these if you wanted to in the time it's taken me to do that. I mean, I could go back and I could do a render for every single one of those designs and then just show them to a client and say, hey, you know, look, we've had all these ideas, what do you think of them? So anyway, I hope that's helped you, and hang on for the next one.